Hi guys, my name is Korpen, as usual, and I'm back with another episode in the Tank School video series that I've been doing for about 1 year now. And this episode is going to be about how to win as a German tanker in the ground forces in War Thunder. So I'm just going to go through a few points that I have, sort of rapid fire succession style way. And meanwhile, we'll have a look at this very well played battle by myself and German team. Maybe I didn't perform at my maximum capacity during this game, but nevertheless, it's a very nice battle, and there is going to be a lot of action. And while we have a look at the battle, I'll sort of just go through my main points out what you might want to keep in mind when you're playing as a German tanker in the game. My first point is going to be about teamwork. Now, teamwork is super important. It is super important that you stay together and that you cover one another. And if you can, try to advance in pairs while the other tanks in the line cover you as you move up, and so on. Like I am doing here, I'm covering the advancing Tigers and Panthers as they are moving up on A from the flank. And while they've grabbed the firm hold of the little village here on my right, I can move up and provide even more covering fire from the side or from the flank. Now, that is important, because if you have teamwork, you cover one another, chances are that the enemy team doesn't really have teamwork, because teamwork in this game is fairly rare. As an occurrence, doesn't really happen a lot, unless you're playing in a platoon-sized squad, or maybe a company. Then you might have some teamwork. You can at least rely on your teammates to cover you while you advance. But in a pickup group, no, it's a rare occurrence. But once it happens, it's glorious. So over to the next point. Now, if you want to win as a German tanker, the best thing you can do is to try to keep your distance to the enemy tanks, because you have a fairly protected tank with a decent amount of armor, or at least the armor that you have will be enough to stop an incoming shell at around 1,000 meters or so. And that is basically enough, considering what kind of armament your tank has. And most German tanks, except for maybe the Stug 3A and the short-barreled Panzer IVs, maybe some of the Panzer III models as well with the short-barreled 50mm cannon. Most German tanks does have a superb gun that is definitely more than a match for any tank that they will face. And that was the main design of most German tanks that saw service during World War II. They were designed to not only being able to fire adequate amounts of HE onto enemy infantry position, but also knock out any enemy tank that they would face. And like in the case of this Panther video, my Panther D has a 75mm long barreled cannon that was one of the best anti-tank guns during World War II. So if you can keep your distance towards the enemy, you will negate the advantage that most enemy tanks has against you, and that is sloped armor and speed and mobility. Now, if you're engaging them at the distance of, let's say, 1,500 meters or 1,000 meters, they will have a hard time penetrating your tank, whereas your gun will be more than enough to knock them out within one hit, or maybe two, or maximum, I don't know, 3 hits. You should have scored the kill on the enemy tank, unless you're doing something wrong, or the game is foiling you in some kind of way. So basically, my main point was that German tanks has superior firepower at longer ranges, whereas American tanks tend to be more balanced, and the Russian tanks excel in close quarter combat. And that brings us over to the next point. If you want to stay alive as a German tanker, stay out of towns. And basically that goes for most tankers, you know. In the close quarter combat, you sort of negate most of the benefits that you have as a German tanker, and that is long range firepower and adequate armor on your tank. Now, most German tanks aren't superbly armored, and that is because they don't need that kind of armor at the distance of 800 meters to 1000 meters and beyond. But if you fight on, let's say, the Soviet tanks terms, in a close quarter brawl, they will have the upper hand. They have faster turret traverse than you do. They have faster tanks than you do. They have faster tank traverse than you do. So stay away from them and try to deal with them at longer ranges, and don't let them get close to you. In most towns, you tend to have houses all around you, so that will give the enemy the element of surprise. So, with that said, defense is the best offense when it comes to German tanks. So try to advance on the map and take up a good defensive position, and set up a defensive line together with your platoon mates, and you defend first and you try to pick off a few enemy tanks, and then you counterattack. That is the tactic that I have found works out the best for me in War Thunder, especially while using the Tiger, the Panzer IV, as well as the Panther. Then again, a bit of a disclaimer, your mileage may vary, so you might have a better way of dealing with enemy tanks, and if you do have that, please let us know in the comment section below. If you have something that works out better for you, I would like to hear it. But in general, setting up an ambush or a defensive line first, hitting the enemy hard once they advance over open terrain, tend to work out the best, and then the counterattack after that, it tend to work out the best, at least for me. So those are the main points that I wanted to make with this video. Now do mind that you have a superior long-range firepower as a German tanker, so try to use it at all costs. And naturally try to stay away from enemy ground attackers as well, since they tend to knock you out pretty quickly if they get half a chance. So today's video was a bit shorter than usual, but I hope you have enjoyed it nevertheless. Let me know what you think about my main tactics as playing the German tanks in the game. This tactic tend to get you decent games, but very few superb games, you know. If you're really bold as a tanker and aggressive, you tend to get games where you get 7 to 10 ground kills before you die, but you tend to die a lot as well. Now, if you play your tank in the way that I have recommended, you tend to die a lot less, but you get fewer kills, if you get what I'm saying. It's a more secure way of playing, and really that's the way I play the game. You know, I'm cautious to a certain degree, and then I attack, and I try to recognize when the right time to be aggressive is in a battle. And that time isn't right away unless you're playing Russian tanks or American tanks, where you need to be close up and personal with the enemy to have a fair chance to knock them out. Now, if you're in a German tank, best thing you can do is to try to keep your distance and try to stay out of the way of enemy ground attackers and bomber planes. So, with that said, I'm going to cut the video here. Hope you guys have enjoyed. See you guys around next week with another War Thunder video. Thank you for watching.